You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports 2. Well, my goodness. The Carolina Panthers seem to be busy as far as the quarterback market goes because we've got one beat writer for the Carolina Panthers that believe Jimmy Garoppolo will be the starting day quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Now we've got Ian Rapoport, the NFL insider extraordinaire that's not named Adam Schefter, you know, the one that works for NFL Network. He has come out and he has said he believes Baker Mayfield may end up being Carolina's choice at quarterback. Now, Mayfield just come out 2 days ago and said he thought he would land in Seattle. Well, there seems to have been a little shooting that down going on by Ian Rapoport. Let's do Mayfield first, and then we'll get to Jimmy. One NFC team viewed as most likely spot for Baker Mayfield. I got to tell you before we even get started, why are the Detroit Lions not in on this? I mean, Baker Mayfield is a clear upgrade over Jared Goff. I mean, just a clear upgrade. It would seem like a perfect destination. Blue collar town, you know, blue collar quarterback. I don't know. Dan Campbell. I mean, it just seems like it'd be a good marriage with Baker. Pittsburgh would still be the best destination. The market for Baker Mayfield has been quite limited thus far. It is likely to remain that way for the foreseeable future. If the Browns are able to trade the former first overall pick, it sounds like there's one team to watch. Ian Rapoport of NFL Media says that on the Pat McAfee show on Friday that he views the Carolina Panthers as the most likely suitor for Mayfield, while Mayfield himself said he feels the Seattle Seahawks would be the best fit. Rapoport just doesn't think that is realistic at the moment. He identified that the Seahawks as his likely team. That was a little surprising to me. I haven't gotten the sense at all that the Seahawks are that interested. Rapoport said they've added Drew Lock, and by the way, they just re-signed Geno Smith. They may take a quarterback in the draft, and I know they've done a lot of homework. To me, the Carolina Panthers seem to be the most likely spot for Baker Mayfield, or maybe a team that brings in a big-time, high-money backup who could take over like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know that I see that at all. Mayfield wants to start next season, but his options are extremely limited. If he is committed to never playing for the Browns again, he may have no choice but to accept a backup role for the short term. It is interesting that Rapoport mentioned the Buccaneers, as Mayfield recently worked out with one of Brady's favorite targets. And, of course, right now in Carolina, they've got Sam Darnold. Now let's get to this, because I got to be honest with you. I've always felt like this was a pretty realistic destination for Jimmy Garoppolo. Panthers beat writer believes Carolina drafting a quarterback is a smokescreen, and there is interest in Jimmy G. Trade talks surrounding 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo came to a screeching halt once teams learned he wouldn't be able to throw until the summer. We're a couple of weeks away from the NFL draft, where a couple of teams still must decide whether they'll hand the keys to a rookie signal caller in an underwhelming quarterback class. I still like Kenny Pickett. The Carolina Panthers are Jimmy's best bet to land a starting gig in 2022. Matt Rule has swung and missed with each opportunity at quarterback as a head coach. He gave Teddy Bridgewater a $63 million contract, then traded him away for a sixth-round pick. Carolina would go on to trade a second-round pick plus 3 other picks for Sam Darnold and immediately exercise his fifth-year option. The Cam Newton reunion tour lasted a week. The alternative is Baker Mayfield or Garoppolo. They're both upgrades over anything I just talked about. Looking at the Panthers from a team-building standpoint, Garoppolo wins based on the process of elimination. They're not, quote, a quarterback away, nor are the Panthers in a situation where they can expect a rookie quarterback to uplift a roster void of talent. No, they got some talent on the offensive side. Jonathan Alexander, Panthers beat writer from the Charlotte Observer, shared his insight on how he thinks Carolina's plans will go the next 2 weeks. I fully expect that the Panthers want to take the best player available, preferably the offensive line. All this quarterback stuff you hear, and you hear the national people talk about quarterback, I think it's a smokescreen. I do think it's serious, though. And he goes on to talk about the guys they do like. And there's a small chance all four of those guys could come off the board. Malik Willis is somebody they're talking about at quarterback. Okay, now to Garoppolo. I reported this on Monday. I do think one of the Panthers quarterbacks, when it all's said and done, is going to be Jimmy Garoppolo or Baker Mayfield. I wrote in my story that the reason the Panthers had disinterest in Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield was because their contracts are not something they want to take on. And it was something they couldn't take on, and they were focused on Deshaun Watson. But the 26.9 Jimmy, 18.9 Baker, they didn't want to pay that type of contract, and Sam Darnold. That was where the disinterest was. But if that contract comes down and the Browns or 49ers agree to take on that money, if they did that, they become a lot more attractive. If you look at Jimmy G, I think it's reasonable to think the Panthers prefer him over Baker. He's had more success in the NFL, absolute fact. I do know the shoulder injury does concern them. He won't be ready until August, which is a concern. So, we've talked about Carolina some in the past on this channel in regards to Jimmy. I always, and I'll say this again, I've used this argument before. Remember the year that Garoppolo came on to the 49ers? The Niners were 0-10. Okay, there wasn't a ton of talent on that team at the time. Had a little talent, but not a ton. As it sits right now, the Carolina Panthers, I think, at least on offense, are setting in a better position than the Niners were then. The Niners were 0-10. They put Jimmy in the lineup. They won 6 games in a row. Okay? 6 in a row. They were 0-10 and finished 6-10. Jimmy Garoppolo immediately comes in and starts winning football games. Okay? That's just what he does. He's got something in the neighborhood of like a 33-14 record or something as a starting quarterback. Jimmy just wins games. The receivers are going to like him. Look, he's not the best deep ball thrower, but he's a really good short to intermediate passer. He is. He's going to throw some picks. That's part of it. I like Baker. I like Jimmy more. Okay? Now, look, they both got a little bit of postseason success, but Jimmy's got more of it, okay? I think if Matt Rule wants to keep his job, Jimmy is the quarterback he'd rather take. Because, yeah, they could take Jimmy, and they could compete for the second-best team in that division. They're going to have to bang it out with the Saints, but they'll compete, and they'll be behind the Bucs. They could win 9, maybe 8, 9, 10 games with Jimmy Garoppolo. With Baker, I think you're going to be a little lower than that. I think you're going to be 6, 7, 8 range versus Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm not sure that those are the kind of wins that's going to keep Matt Rule's job. But I think maybe 8, 9, 10, Matt Rule gets another year. Carolina fans may not like that. Okay, and then, look, Tom Brady does retire, and they like what they see out of Jimmy. You arguably have the best quarterback in the division if Tom Brady retires. So that's something to think about. Seattle would love to get their hands on Jimmy Garoppolo, but the Niners would have to release him. And the Niners sure don't want to trade him to the Seahawks, and they don't want to release him because in the back of their mind, Kyle Shanahan knows Jimmy Garoppolo might beat us twice. I mean, that's a possibility here. So I like Jimmy more than Baker. Not a lot more than Baker. It's closer than you think. But if I was Carolina, I would probably take Jimmy over Baker. Even though the contract looks worse. Look, the Niners need to eat a little salary here. Not all of it, not half of it. But look, maybe a third of it. Get that down around the $20 million range. $19 million range, and then Carolina can do something with Sam Darnold. By the way, I want picks back. I don't want Sam Darnold back to the Niners. I don't. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.